This is a kind of a different episode. We don't have a video to react to directly because I know for a fact that YouTube will take it down like they did our Pfizer video. Um, so you guys, some of you may have seen it. It's spread around on Twitter a bit, but it was the Senate elections House oversight hearings by Jackie Berger or Jacqueline Berger. Mind the spellings in this. As I was watching the video, I was taking notes as I was going. Like I was just furiously typing to try to get myself through all of this. So we're gonna kind of go through what I had laid out as the bullet points, which was a lot of what's going on down in the Arizona election with the stolen election that everybody talks about, which it's so complicated that it's actually disturbing, and it goes back much longer than just this last election. It's some deep money, has to do with some cartel stuff, and we'll just go ahead and get into this now, and we'll periodically pause and just kind of discuss it. And Jerry, if something strikes you, just start speaking and I can pause moment. But I'm going to kind of just go through this. It's 5 pages worth of notes, and I kind of want to get through some of the major points. So, Katie Hobbs and her husband are laundering cartel money through fake deeds and mortgages. Okay, that was one of the primary things there. So the name of the paper itself that will be released eventually is the preliminary findings of activities impacting Arizona election integrity with specific focus on the 2020 and 2022 general elections. Okay, the author is Jacqueline Braggers. It was something like that. It's not spelt right. Don't mind it. She's an econ professor, works for the law firm Harris Thaler Law Firm. Now, I'll bring in something about who Thaler is and how he got the contact that started this 4-year investigation. It covers racketeering enterprises are explicitly involved with election fraud. California and New Mexico have started using this report to correct ongoing issues. Illinois, let me get it scrolling down here. Let's see here. Illinois. Where am I at? I'm lost. Here. I'm gonna do it like this. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go.
Right
Here we go.
there.
All right, Illinois, Idaho, Iowa in the early 80s used the cartel to launder their money through purchase of single-family homes. Laundering of this money through single-family residences in Arizona began in 1994 using new construction and sex trafficking. Cash is laundered through inflated and falsified invoices, falsified charity, and bankruptcies. Resources include city government agencies. Money earned exceeds over $7.5 billion. Laundered cash is used to bribe public officials and their support staff. Principal preparers of the documents necessary to effect the racketeering enterprises are Donna Ray Chavez and the daughter Brittany. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Brittany and the law firm itself, Thaler.
Yeah.
I think it's like John Thaler or something like that.
Yeah.
They were married. So he had inside knowledge, and they had just gotten a divorce, and then she became an informant for the Thaler Law Group, reporting what her and her mother were doing, trying to expose this stuff, I guess. And it gets crazy. This stuff goes absolutely nuts. So to date, more than 10,000 falsified documents have been recorded in the Mesa County Recorder's Office. More than 35,000 deeds, evidence, fraudulent transactions exist in the database. More than 15,000 falsified notarizations existed. The pair were involved in racketeering activities, including facilitating bribes to public officials, tax evasion, payroll theft, bankruptcy fraud, insurance fraud, and extortion. The city of Mesa is a racketeering organization defined in 18 Code USC 1961. Civil rights are systematically violated to preserve the racketeering enterprises. Fines are outrageous. Bonds are used to collect money to be redirected in racketeering enterprises. Police departments operate a private police department used to support racketeering enterprises. Officers participating in this are compensated using funds from the phony mortgage schemes and other rackets. Officers involved in this private special PD systematically violated the Fourth Amendment rights by breaking and entering, wiretapping, computer hacking, cell phone hacking, surveillance techniques without warrant, plant evidence, and hide negative evidence. Multiple state agencies' databases have been hacked, allowing falsified documents to be uploaded and legitimate documents to be removed. Example, the databases for the University of Arizona, Arizona State University, and Northern Arizona University have been infiltrated and hacked. It permits people who have not received the degrees to get them, removes individuals that have received them, and creates phantom people to have received a degree that don't exist. State licensing databases have been hacked to permit people with fake degrees to get licenses in accounting, tax, real estate, mental health, and law. These systems were set up in 2004 to have false documents uploaded or legitimate documents removed. Since 2015, hundreds of falsified court documents have been uploaded to the databases. These documents include falsified default judgments, criminal restitution orders, child support orders. All of these are used in swatting activities against the people who threaten the activities of the racket. Are you familiar with what swatting is?
I certainly am, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
For everybody else, what swatting is, and it originated actually in the video game era early on, is where somebody calls the cops on you. Yeah. They know your address, they know where you live, and they say, hey, I'm at this house, there's a person with a gun, they're aiming it at my head, blah, 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 blah. And then the cop sends the SWAT team there. Not all the times does it end in someone's death, but
it has.
There have been many times where somebody had died, SWAT broke in, somebody maybe had a gun on them just because it was their house and they could, and they got shot and killed. Or sometimes the police just act and they shoot to kill. So yeah, that's a thing. Since 2004, these rackets have manipulated the election systems from bribes to the principals running the election services. Besides affecting local elections, the bribes were also used in national elections like the one in November 3rd for the recorder and November 8th, the governor. Public officials have received bribes arranged between local small office officials all the way to state judges. Up to 25% of active judges have taken bribes. Many people who know or don't know will be prosecuted to protect the racket if they are assumed a threat. Brittany was the one who leaked this information to the law firm via her connection in marriage to the lead lawyer, and has tried to get witness protection, but was threatened by the cartel and broke off communications with the office. So all of this money is all ultimately routed through cartel money, because Arizona is the number one. That's the big door. That's the big funnel, is through Arizona. And it was important to control the Arizona government. But to control the Arizona government, I'm going to go ahead and take an assumption that they're also in bed with all the feds, because you can't just take a state government over without really having solid Fed support, meaning the FBI are probably every bit as much involved in cartel money and all of your federal officials, because if that wasn't the case, then the feds would come down hard on Arizona as being corrupt. But they don't. Probably because they're on the same payroll. So that's my opinion on that. But they're definitely saying that it's the cartels backing it with the offices. She continues to leak into the office, but more like in hiding at this point is what my guess is. She's in hiding herself without witness protection, but she's continuing to leak information that she knew.
Why won't they give her witness protection?
The cartel. I guess it took too long, is what I was able to get out of the video, because the Senate hearing committee was trying to rush this woman along, rush Jacqueline along. She was taking too long to get this information out, which is a ton of information. I'm only halfway through, and That's my guess. Is it takes too long to get witness protection. So
Why is that? You would think that would be something they'd be able to do urgently,
not if the feds are in
and
on the
especially if
payroll.
they're a witness. That's exactly right. That's my point.
Right.
Okay.
So the Maricopa databases were designed with a backdoor to allow outsiders to go in and change data. The law office was provided certain information in October of 2020. The Maricopa County computer system was designed with backdoors. IDs of people involved with bribes, including elected officials. The office found 25,000 falsified ballots with laundered money in a private Mesa residence rented to Donna Chavez. It was rented to her. That's not where she was living. It's just this woman had her name over everything, like everything in Arizona. She was signatory for all kinds of things. This is not limited to only Arizona. That was a keynote, is that this is taking place in all the states. Katie Hobbs, which is the now governor of Arizona, deeds of trust was a receiver of Chavez over 9 falsified deeds of trust. Title and mortgage company owned by Brittany and Rachel do not or have not ever existed. From 1997 to 2021, she purchased or refied every 2 years. Series of properties. 6 of the 9 deeds were recorded from 97 to 07 prior to the 08 collapse. Mostly from 01 to 05, which was the biggest spike. If you bought real estate and were buying and selling in between 01 and 05, you were making tons of money. But mind you, Hobbs was, I believe, in or just out of college at this point. She was part of something called Emerge Arizona, acted as a medium to get women into politics and bribed them for the use of the cartel. Emerge Arizona was directly funded by the cartel. Phony mortgage company creates a phony mortgage, creates a phony sale, moves untraceable money. Since 04 ballots have been tampered with, and that was the 2004 election. Ballots were tampered with. Backdoor entry points, removal of valid ballots and inserting phony ballots. Super PACs are funded by the cartel racket. So it's not like the cartel's funding it directly, but the racket and the organizations that are scheming all of this for the cartel are the ones backing the super PACs. Computer infiltration through non-physical ballots are inserted with a copy of real ballot for a recount. So every time they get a digital ballot, they're having fake ballots on the ready. So that way when the recount comes in, here's the ballots. That way there is a paper proof. 60,000 fake Democrat ballots voted for a Republican to create a planned loss of the state recorder during Hobbs' gubernatorial race. So that way it didn't look like. So they had 60,000 fake Democrats that voted for Hobbs to win the governor, but voted for a Republican in the recorder as to say, see, it's legit. These Democrats will vote across the aisle. They'll vote on either side. But it was all fake. It was you plant a loss to set up for a win, so that way you're not you're just being. It's not even 3D chess. This is just checkers. But a lot of people don't even want to realize they're on a board, making it statistically impossible for the votes for the other candidates on the ticket. Arizona, a border state, makes it a wider key point on the entire country due to the access for the cartel. Three of 5 Maricopa County supervisors have accepted bribes. Dark money and bribes have gone to the super PACs. Thaler, the lawyer investigating, could not be present live because he had multiple attempts on his life. He's had tires slashed. He's had one of his clients, I guess, I watched a video just prior to us doing this one, where he said that he even had one of his clients take grave injury because they were going after him and they hit one of the clients instead by accident. Carrie Lake's daughter has had multiple life attempts taken on her while Carrie Lake was running for governor. Every part of Arizona recommended high and low has been bribed by the cartel racket. Note the spokesperson was and this is a keynote for those of you who go back and actually
Oh,
watch it. The spokesperson was interrupted by Senator Ken Bennett, saying that it was not appropriate to allege conduct of its members. The legal team has collected over 120,000. Actually, I'm going to go back up on this. So when they went into the Q&A here, because I'm at the end of it now, she took a battery of what you would consider very, like, with vitriol. The questions came angry. There, some of them were just like, you're brave for coming out and saying this, yada yada yada. There was like one or two maybe. The rest of them were with like vitriol, coming out just asking accusatory questions, trying to frame the this whole thing in bad light, yada yada yada. And the legal team is collected over 120,000 documents of election fraud and racket schemes. All right, your turn.
well, it was also the governor. It's Hobbs now, right?
Yeah,
In
the governor's
Arizona.
office.
She was the one who was overseeing the election counts, if I remember right. Was she the AG or something?
Something like
And
that. Yeah.
yeah, I think she was the AG, the Attorney General. And there was a real problem because there were some problems with the election that they knew in Arizona, and well, people like us certainly knew, and they couldn't get the recount stuff done because she was handling it, and it was an election she was running for governor in. And she was in charge of all of the election fraud, the election recounts, and all of that. It all fell onto her, and which was a real problem when if she was cheating.
Yeah.
Right? Who do you go to? It's
Right.
kind of like who do you? Yeah.
Well,
It's
it's this whole thing, right? So how deep is this money involved in politics? Now, obviously, it's worse
oh
than the border for your local, right? So for Arizona's local communities, even down to your fucking city, you're
well they
probably
said
looking at cartel money everywhere. But the further you get away
billions of
from the
dollars.
border, the less local where cartel money is involved. But your state, guarantee it. Almost
Yeah.
guarantee every aspect of every corner of your government is got money that's flowing through it. Now, you could be like, let's say if you're a politician listening to this right now, and you're like, well, I've never taken cartel money. And then the question is, have you taken super PAC money? And have you bent a took a sway of position on your PAC or lobby? Well, there's a very high probability that PAC or lobby is cartel money, and they're swaying you in directions that the cartel needs.
Yeah, I talked to a guy who was involved with the cartel, and on a one-on-one, and I asked him, I said, so how are you guys handling the laundering this money? And this is back to my whole Bundy deal, but and he told me, he said, well, he was running up from his Mexican and running up from Texas to Boston to Massachusetts. He says he was running $1 million or more in cash all the time up and back and forth there, and they had to be really careful. They had another car as a car behind them, so that if in fact they were to get pulled over, they could delay the police from getting to them. And but they were laundering millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So we know, and that's just this one little piece
Right.
of it. And
Right.
it's and what they're doing is they're buying real estate, they're buying all kinds of stuff. So they talk about inflation. Well, the cartel doesn't care how much you pay for something, because they just need to get that money into circulation, into some legal means. And then when they pay off government officials who are supposed to be watching this stuff, they give them some, then they've got them over the barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends down there who are watching the border when the illegals were coming across the border in 2014, 15, 16, and the amount of money and stuff coming across. And they told me that that very few of the Border Patrol agents and the local sheriffs, I guess it is, or police departments down there are clean. They said there's just too much money.
Yeah.
And you figure some guy getting down there doing his job, and then he gets offered a bullet or a few $100,000.
Right.
What's he going to take?
Right.
They know where their family is. I mean, they got huge money. They control the people above them in a number of cases.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's a tough thing to combat, because their problem is they've got too much money, the cartels, they just got to get into the circulation.
Yeah.
And that's not a problem most of us have, is having too much money.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bad thing. It's a really bad thing. And when they hold the corner office and the governor's office, I mean, they're supposed that like the chief law enforcement officer really of the state, and they're supposed to be the one directing law enforcement and such, and they're not going to do it. I mean, if they're on the take, they're not going to do it.
Yep.
And Carrie Lake, I mean, I was certainly hoping she was going to win, but she was hot on it, and of course she didn't win, and I'll be surprised how much support she got from the Republicans nationally to win.
Right, because they're all in on it too.
Yeah, they are. I mean, look at Biden and Ukraine.
Right.
If anybody denies that there's stuff going on there when they see the son collecting billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, I mean, he's nothing but a crackhead whoremonger. And they go, oh well, but he's our guy, and that can't possibly be true. But yeah, it can't be. Yeah, it can't be. You believe the Trump was in frickin' Moscow peeing on frickin' prostitutes on the bed, but you won't believe when you have videotape that even Biden's telling the frickin' at the Council on Foreign Relations that when he told the president of frickin' Ukraine that we helped appoint in the coup, is that if he doesn't pull the prosecutor off Burisma, where his son's where Biden's son Hunter's getting investigated, and he's not going to give Ukraine $1 billion of our tax money through the feds. And so he goes, oh, so guess what? Before I left, they fired him. He's bragging about it.
Right.
I mean, the American people, I got to tell you, I don't know if it's even possible that the American people get fed up with it. I mean, you as a citizen, whoever's watching this, you step on the wrong side of it. You get on the wrong side of the IRS or whoever it happens to be, whatever that agency is, they're going to come down on you hard. They're going to make you pay the price. They're going to make your life as miserable as they possibly can. They're going to try to take everything you own. And what do? They're corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
They're corrupt. They don't prosecute the criminals. They go after us to keep us in line. And I don't know if American people ever get, if they're going to get fed up with it, what it takes for them to get fed up with it enough to stop it. I'm not even quite sure how you do stop it, to be honest with you. Got a couple ideas, but none of it's pretty.
Nope. All right, guys. If you like this, comment, and subscribe down below. And see you guys on the next one.
Simplify.